I'll just make the shorter introduction of myself. Then I move into your introduction. Okay, my name is Christopher Mambwe, and it's my pleasure that today we are hosting Irina on our very important topic, which is on navigating energy transition, which is balancing sustainability, energy security, and also looking at the market, especially in the context of decarbonizing the world. With that, I have a short introduction instead of giving much time for Irina to introduce herself. I have a short introduction for her before we dive into the question. And so it's my pleasure that we host Irina. Looking at, of course, it's not an easy for someone to schedule a time with us. And it's my pleasure that we are hosting, looking at the expert in the energy. Also the liquefied natural gas experience, and also the experts in terms of energy governance. So it's my pleasure that we are hosting, and it's a warm welcome for the team and also the entire program. Let's move directly move into our discussion. Maybe I have a short a foundation, or more or less the intro on the opening. Regarding the global energy landscape is experiencing the rapid change, Irina. So looking at the country trying to balance the energy affordability, as well as also trying to balance the mandate of the emission reduction. So in that regard, so would like you to tell us how we can trying to look at this just as a context before I move into the main questions.
So your question is, could you just rephrase it once again in a short form so that I can understand it better?
Okay, what I'm trying to put in context here is that looking at your career background, the experience in natural gas and the governance. Yeah. So we are trying to get some kind of what inspired you in this space, so that we can try to answer that question in the context of your career.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's generally about why I came to energy, more or less, an energy transition. I really like this question. I came to energy from the side of international relations and not from engineering, like a lot of people do. And it could be seen sometimes as a disadvantage. I'm not a technical specialist, but at the same time, it's helpful because it allows me to see the broader multi-dimensional nature of the energy transition challenge. So as a student of international relations, I really focused a lot on security issues during the 20th century. And once I attended the course about geopolitics of oil and gas, at some point I found out that the missing piece from this puzzle was found. So finally, I understood that there is so much going on if you look at some historical events. And then sometimes you just don't get the logic, like why would countries behave in a certain way? Why would they do certain things? And then boom, when I got the oil story in there and later on natural gas, that's when it all started to kind of work for me together. So then I realized that if I want to really understand international relations and security, I must look at energy. And it should not be oil, because oil is the fuel of the 20th century, but it should be natural gas and other fuels. Well, I did my master's at mid-2000s. So I started in 2003, I started university studies, and in 2008, I started master degree studies. So that was the time when natural gas was really, really an important topic and very central to power generation systems in Russia, where I'm from, and in Europe, where I was doing my master's. So obviously, I thought this was an interesting topic. So, um, what attracted me to energy was that you cannot understand it through one discipline, but it helps you to understand other disciplines. It helps you to understand social sciences. It helps you to understand politics. It helps you to understand international relations. So energy is a physical system, but it's also an economic system and a political system. A pipeline or an LNG terminal infrastructure, it's like infrastructure, but its value depends on markets, regulation, international relations, and geopolitics in some cases. So I also found that this topic is just very, very engaging, like a detective story sometimes. So yeah, that was it for me. So I was studying international relations, and boom, energy just helped me to understand one logic behind that I didn't get before. Before I was just memorizing the events. Now I could understand why. And the energy developments really are helpful to explain that.
Okay, well. Okay, thank you for that. Maybe just trying to, of course, I get the point where you've looked at, of course, yes, energy is some kind of the interdiscipline. I
Yeah.
think I can also second that. Maybe just to try to add on something, maybe so that we can try to fully understand, maybe in terms of what was much influential for you to find yourself in this field.
What was the most influential for me to learn about energy? Do you mean?
Yes, because
Mhm.
looking at this field, which is so many, it's
Yeah,
interdisciplinary, the way you said, yes.
yeah,
Now, we want to look at the most aspect that were so much
yeah.
influential shaping your career.
The one influential thing is shaping my career, I would say meeting now you know the concept of mentorship. So I met this person who became my mentor. She was one of the people at the second job that I got after university. It's not secret. I can share her name, Tatiana Mitrova. And she just, I just discussed with her some movements in my career. And first, she led by example. Um, and secondly, she just advised me and she helped me to balance various things. So I would say one decisive thing was meeting a person whom I consider to be my mentor. So a more experienced colleague who has the time to talk. Probably before that, it was also about a person who taught the energy geopolitics class. So that was Kobe van der Linde, who inspired me about energy altogether. So she got me interested. And then Tatiana Mitrova, she gave me this advice, and we kept in touch. We met first in 2011, and now it's 2026. So we know each other for 15 years, and we still discuss some things, and I still go to her for advice. So it was meeting two powerful women in the sector.
Okay. Oh, well, that's interesting. So, from actually what you have just mentioned, now this triggers me maybe before we move into the meat of the discussion, because you've looked at the time frame, which is 15 years, and I'm sure you've touched a number of some projects. Because it seems that there are some already projects. This seems to be some kind of mentorship. Is there any kind of the project or the research that you've done in the recent which are more impactful, and or
Mhm.
maybe you are learning some projects so that the people who are joining this meeting that they can learn something from such projects in
Yeah.
line with your expertise?
Um, So the project that was impactful, I mean, there are different types of impact. Impact in terms of what's the citation index. When people cite your work, obviously this is the Russian and Global Energy Outlook that I participated in creating when I was at the Energy Research Institute of the Russian Academy of Sciences. This was the second job that I got after graduating from the university. I was research engineer and I had area of responsibility. So what that project taught me to do, and I was managed by Tatiana Mitrova, whom I mentioned already. So what that project taught me to do is that you have a small area of responsibility. For me, that was natural gas in Northeast Asia, including Japan, South Korea, and China, and the pricing mechanisms for natural gas and their evolution in Northeast Asia. So you take responsibility and you take ownership. It's a small market within the global system. It might be a very, very minor thing, but it's yours. And any question that the team has, you have the capacity to become the central person. So take it seriously, even if it's minor. Do it with utmost respect and don't downgrade it yourself. So you start with a smaller thing and smaller importance, and then if you do it, you will learn, you will expand your area of expertise. But secondly, in a good institution, even with a small, like my contribution to the very first publication that I was in the list of co-authors, I wrote half a page. So my text was half a page in a 300-page report. And then I thought, well, maybe, it doesn't matter and la, la, la. But no, it matters. And you have, even if you just do one line, take it very seriously, take it responsibly, and treat it this is your job at the moment. Like, you don't think that, okay, some time later when I do a big project, I will be serious about it and now I will just do it whatever I want. No, even the very small thing that you do it seriously, do it professionally, and that will get you moving forward. So that was and that I took it seriously. I was always trying to be super precise about the things that I have to do. So that seemed to be working. But also it got my name on the report, which got a good citation index. So it was good for me as well. And another project that I want to mention, it was also about the analytical publication that I was part of. And this publication literally saved me through the gravest crisis I've been in my life personally. So having jobs. So it's fast forward 10 years. So my first report and big publication, it's about 2012. Now we're in 2022, 2023. So what happens is that I was on maternity leave. And I guess the interview is for young students who don't know yet, but, maternity leave is a big transformation for any person, for a mother and for a father. And you lose a lot of time that you were able to spend on your career. So, and then you don't know anything. You started from scratch. And you don't know, you feel like you're such a fool that you don't know, elementary things. And then that was the first part. And second part of the situation, so I had a very small child. And the second part was that emigration, that we emigrated away from my country of birth. And we were trying to start our life in a new country. And the third element of that equation was the war starting in the new country. So we had regular sirens for missile attacks and everything. So that's a crazy situation. You can imagine a person who has lost his professional kind of standing. Like I left my office job, I left my country, and I'm in this new world where I'm a new mother that I don't know what to do, like at all. And then it's was such a difficult moment in my life. And my colleagues came to me and they said, "We need you to help us edit a book about energy transition." And I was editing, and those were the 2 hours of stability in my life, in my day, that I sat down, I put the baby to sleep. I sat down, I work on the book. I know what it is about. I know the material. I know how it's supposed to be. And it was my island of stability. So at that time, this work, it's a book published by Palgrave Macmillan, the Russian coal in the era of climate change. So it's an interesting book. It's not, I don't think it's a groundbreaking book, but for me personally, it was a massive, massive help because it literally held me up in the most dramatic period of my life.
Well, no. Thanks for that. Yeah, it's actually connects well and showing how strong you are, and of course to reach these heights of your career. You during you mentioned over especially our which is our discussion now. I move to the next, which is about the natural gas, LNG, as well as the energy security. So under this, I have a question because we know how the natural gas is playing part in the energy, and now we are looking at in terms of the global energy system as well as the energy transition. So now my question here is, how do you see their role in this transition to low carbon economy, especially for countries because globally we are living in African countries which are relying on this source of energy, but
Mhm.
because of the mandate of trying to meet the emission targets as well as trying to balance the energy security. So
Yeah.
maybe we will try to see how you can put that context in the countries which want to achieve such targets.
Well, answering your question, I mean, it's very easy to, go into the uh, binary discussion. Like gas is good because it's less polluting than coal or oil. This is the argument very often coming from the natural gas industry. And on the other hand, the proponents of renewable energy would always tell, natural gas is still a fossil fuel, get rid of it. So I don't think that this binary discussion is very helpful. I think that what we have to focus on is on the nature of the challenge that stands before each and every country when it tries to go through this energy transition. We have different systems in the world, and for some countries they have reached already a level of universal energy access. They consume a lot of energy and they can think about how to do it better. And then there is a whole I don't know, a majority of the world actually, where the question is how to get more energy to develop. And the question is how you get there without getting into the carbon trap. So I think the question really lies in the function that natural gas can perform in a particular energy system, what realistic alternatives there are, and how does that function change over time. So I obviously, because I still keep working with the natural gas sector very very closely. Obviously, I'm not the abandoned natural gas type of person, and moreover, I don't believe in the full phase out of fossil fuels. Well, we can discuss it later. But I think that in some systems, natural gas may be competing with coal, and therefore it can contribute to lower emissions. In others, it provides flexibility alongside variable renewable generation. So, liquefied natural gas also provide geographical diversification, and therefore it could contribute to energy security. So the answer is that the role of natural gas in energy transition is different across different countries. So, for a mature European energy system with relatively flat energy demand, the transition question looks very different than the transition question for a developing economy where electricity demands may be increasing rapidly and where reliability itself remains a major challenge. So, I don't have a simple answer to this question.
Okay, yeah, indeed. Thank you. Of course, it's some to some extent a complex way to just give looking at different countries. Now, you touched on in your response, you touched over each country with a specific. Now that was now like some kind of the governance, which now pushes us to our next question, which is on energy transition and also the governance in terms of the policy. So now, the question is, looking at your work, you highlight the importance of the energy governance in terms of energy transition. So now my question is, what role do institution and policy framework play in achieving successful energy transition?
Mm, well, I think I think institutions are quite important to energy transition. I think sometimes they're described as the rules of the game. Markets don't operate independently of those rules. Investment decisions depend on regulation, property rights, standards, permitting, pricing systems, and expectations about future policy. So the same is true internationally. So the existing climate architecture has achieved something extremely important. It has created shared objectives, scientific frameworks, reporting mechanisms, and channels for international negotiations. But there is a difference between agreeing on the destination, so where we should go, and constructing the road that actually gets you there. So, while institutions are really central, I think what we should also not forget is about the implementation. So, yeah, we should understand the starting point for the energy system in any case, and this is what I do. This is where my work is centered. I am analyzing the markets and how they're changing at the moment. So I'm the market analyst. I have a strong focus on natural gas and where it goes forward. But the starting point is really critical because whenever we try to, like, whenever you start a navigator in your phone, it's always showing you where you are. And if that place is not available, it's not going to show you the way to your destination, right? So, yeah, another important element is to align the incentives. Um, yeah, and implement, like, yeah, and then we come back to the implementation. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe this is because I come from international relations where international governance is a big element of the study of field of inquiry. Maybe that explains my focus to governance systems, but I think institutions are very important.
Okay, no, thank you for the insight and the response that you've given. I'm sure that is sufficient enough to explain in the context. Maybe now we move in terms of we try to look at the developing country. So we're in the developing countries, yes, because we are now talking of the issue of the sustainability. Now, my question to this for the context of development country is that these many countries are in the developing country, especially I'll look at maybe Zambia or most of the African continent. They are lacking access to to energy. And also now they are this imposing that, okay, you cannot use this fuel because this fuel is with the emissions. And then maybe it happens to be that that's a source that maybe it could help them to move the agenda so that people have access to energy. Now, my question is, what opportunities do you see for countries in Africa and also other emerging regions?
Mhm. So the main opportunity, and I really like the way you framed this question, not about challenge, but about opportunity. So the main opportunity is that there is an opportunity to build energy system differently. You don't have to replicate the previous experience, and now it's proven that the whatever experiences we have leads to the climate change. Many African countries have very low energy consumption today, while population and electricity demand are expected to increase substantially. And infrastructure that has not yet been built does not have to be replaced. So there is therefore an opportunity to develop systems incorporating renewables, decentralized generation, modern grids, storage, and new technologies much earlier in their development trajectory. But we have to avoid assuming that technology automatically solves the problem. Affordability, financing, grids, institution skills, and maintenance capabilities matter just as much. And the main opportunity is the human capital, people who are striving to learn. And from the energy sustainability program, I've been participating in lectures for a couple of years now, and I see very strong interest, very strong drive to learn, to develop, and very strong demand to meet interests of African population. So I think the biggest opportunity is the young generation that is growing up in Africa today.
Okay, thank you. And in that, you've touched about which also touches now to our next question, which is question number 7, which is the future trend and skill. In your response, you've touched the skills that, of course, with the new technology coming in, and of course, there is obviously need for changing skill. Now, looking ahead, what trends or technology do you believe will have the greatest impact, especially in the energy sector, for the next decades or maybe 20 years from now? Because I'm
I thought,
looking.
yeah, I have to start again with a disclaimer that I made at the beginning. I'm not a technical specialist myself. So I would say that the skill that you should have is, and that the one that I'm trying to develop myself is technical literacy. So you don't necessarily have to be an engineer, but you need to understand how the physical energy system works. And for that, just reading and understanding the basics. So basic technical literacy about the system that you're analyzing. Second, I think it's very important to talk about analytical and data skills. Energy is becoming increasingly data driven, data rich, and being able to work critically with data is extremely valuable. Also, being able to talk to artificial intelligence and it's not necessarily that you are the data architect yourself, but that you know how to use various instruments and you understand qualitatively what are the outcomes, how to interpret them. So the qualitative understanding of the sector. And I mean, that is your experience and your permanent attention to reading and expanding your, I don't know, knowledge, erudition. And something that is harder to learn directly or to teach directly is ability to move between disciplines. So energy professional may need to understand economics, technology, regulation, geopolitics, and environmental policy within the same problem. So I would encourage students not to simply accumulate qualifications, but also ask capability each qualification would give them. So don't just go for some PhD or some MBA because it's like a high ranking diploma that you're proud to demonstrate. You will have to understand what exactly it gives to you. Sometimes working inside a company would teach you things that neither qualification from a theoretical standpoint would reproduce. Yeah. So that's about skills, I think. But for specific technology, I mean, it depends. Again, if you're in renewables, it will be one set of technologies. If you're in natural gas, it's the other set of technology. I obviously cannot give the list.
Okay, thank you for the response. Maybe looking at the next is maybe we look at maybe just the reflection, more or less like the closing reflection based on what we've just discussed, because we'll have students coming in trying to follow these meetings, so they will need something. So maybe just finally, maybe what advice would you give? Of course, you've touched in your question, but what advice would you give the young professional who aspire to become expert in energy sustainability? Of course, maybe some in the policy, energy policy, as our just
it makes me, feel really strange because I still feel like sometimes I feel like I've just begun, am I already experienced enough to give this advice? But I turned 40 years old this year. So I guess that's, I can give advice to a 20-year-old. So I guess my main advice, also from talking with students, is that you don't have to optimize your every decision at the age of 20 or 22. So you cannot draw a perfect trajectory right now. You cannot have a perfect answer to all of your questions right now given to you at this moment. You will never get this clarity. I would say that it's the most important thing is understand the physical system that you are going to work with. Then energy, because energy is at the intersection of various fields. Develop one area of genuine expertise like engineering or economics or politics, but don't kind of focus on it entirely. Remain curious about the others. So always try to see the interconnections with other fields. Don't confuse credentials with a career. So don't run after certificates and credentials. Try to think in terms of what problem do you want to solve and what kind of professional environment you want to work in. And finally, last but not least, actually students ask me about what should they do if they want to earn a lot of money. And I mean, there is an easy answer to that. Obviously, if you choose between academia, research and analytics, I don't know, government positions, policy making, and corporate and business, I know you know the answer where you get the highest salary. But what I want you to think about when you have that question is don't be after the money in itself, be after financial security and the ability to allow yourself freedom. So don't run after the largest amount of money, but after the state when you can afford to do what you consider to be the right thing. To not do the job that you think is not good, that you can quit and you feel financially stable to do that. So to have this inner understanding of freedom, so try to approach the financial question strategically. So I guess that would be my, the most important one, though. Let's talk about energy transition. I really think it depends. I take responsibility. I still think that I'm at the earlier part of my career. That I want to do as much as I can to leave the better world for my child and for his friends, for the children that I was spending my day with today. We went to a museum, and I want them to walk without air pollution. I want them to walk comfortably without hazardous weather events outside. But also, it's up to you guys to make the choices between earning as much as you can or doing the right thing for the planet. And doing the right thing for the planet does not mean that you will end up in poverty. It also pays, it also allows you to be financially stable.
Thank you very much for the insights and what you've just given us. I think from my end, this is what I had. I don't need to put up the follow-up question because it has already been tackled in your last closing remarks. So for me and on behalf of the team, we are very thankful for you having time with us. That's all I can say. And of course, in future, we are looking to have you, especially next year, for those trainings so that people, these students, may finally get to learn from you as well.
Yeah.
So to us and on behalf of the team, we are very grateful and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk to the Energy Sustainability Program. And I'm looking forward to future encounters with your great team and the fantastic students that you have.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah, I don't know, Irina. I mean, sorry, Emily.